Yo folks, welcome back to Let's Play Call of Duty United Offensive, and today we're actually finishing up the American campaign. The campaigns are a little bit shorter, but a lot harder than their predecessors. But I actually do like this mission a fair amount, just because, I mean, even though it's difficult, it never careens into unfair like the last mission. And joining me with this wrap-up is...
Hey everybody, it's the last Robocar here. I'm looking forward to the climax of this game when hopefully Captain Volley falls under a tank and dies and explodes.
Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But
Yeah.
he does at least refrain from giving any more terrible orders this time. This does not make him any less of a douchebag, which you will see in just a moment when we
Thank
get
heavens
going.
for small favors, I suppose. Ugh.
Listen up, guys! Listen up! Noville's had bad weather for the past 2 weeks, so we have no aerial recon. That means we don't have a damn clue what the Germans have got up there. So we gotta watch each other's backs. Once we've got boots on the ground, we split up and go house to house. I'll be with first squad, going straight up the middle of the road. Second squad will come in from the left. Sergeant Moody will take third squad, flanking right. There's a chateau just west of town. Rendezvous there. Any questions?
So, do we get our dinner there?
If you're cooking, Anderson. All right, first squad, follow me!
Dinner's on me, my ass.
Yeah. Everybody else do all of the work. We'll just sort of say it's on me.
Fuck you, Foley. You're just like, if your orders weren't bad enough, your promises are even worse.
I do appreciate one thing about this this entire campaign is that it lets me keep my trusty MP44 the entire time. Keeps refilling my ammo.
Keeps on buffing it up. I will say though, I wish we could go with Moody.
Yeah, I will say that Foley is technically speaking a better person to hang with because he uses a Thompson submachine gun instead of that crappy ass M1 carbine. But yeah, Moody as opposed to Foley.
Yeah, and also, like, the only reason Moody carries that gun is because it's just got enough weight on it that he can really just crack some nuts and skulls with it.
The way he surges forward to just zealously bash somebody's head in
Moody
with it.
is, like, I swear, like, the notches, if he puts notches on his rifle, it's not from shots that successfully killed anybody, it's from skulls cracked. Also, man, that's butchers. Don't eat any of that meat. It's probably been there a while.
Yeah, particularly not after we've been friggin' bombed.
Well, you know, I just had to say it because, you know, Anderson probably got really hungry.
If he hasn't had dinner yet, or ever, while on this campaign.
Hey, warm meals are pretty important, you know, when in World War I, General Monash had a thing to help improve morale on the lines, and he was basically making sure dudes in the trenches had hot meals. Because apparently that wasn't really a thing before he started doing it.
Then he was a visionary, and he studied very well the statement that an army moves on its stomach.
Seriously, like, you know, a hot meal does wonders.
It does. I don't even have nearly as hard a job as these soldiers do, but I tell you what, that's the first thing I always think of to make myself feel better after a rough day is just a good hot meal.
Fall back! Get down those stairs!
And this entire mission does a really good job of making you feel pressured, and makes it feel very much like the finale.
Case in point, revealed them.
Just everything keeps exploding right behind you.
And the pressure of claustrophobia sets in.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't get video game claustrophobia.
I can't say I've ever heard of somebody having that sort of problem. Then again, I mean, I suppose if somebody was really that claustrophobic, they probably wouldn't be playing video games in the first place, because that sort of requires you to be indoors, and usually usually your computers aren't in wide open areas.
Oh, you never know. Like, I'm sure there's someone who's got their computer set out on a back patio or something.
You know what? I would scoff at that, but Laptops are actually really powerful nowadays. I actually have a gaming laptop downstairs.
Yeah, I've actually like a few days now been just out like playing things on my laptop instead, and just you know, throwing the stick for my dog. It just runs off and comes back to me.
That sounds like such an idyllic thing, and it's so ironic to be talking about that when, you know, bullets are flying and people are dying.
Well, you know, they fought for this, for the right. Not specifically for my right, but you know, whatever. Wow, I just.
So you guys probably did notice the death cut up there, and you're seeing why. This part of the advance is extremely complex because you have that one dude who was just over to my right. He randomly spawns there and sometimes does some weird things. And synchronized rolling.
I love that rolling! Oh my god, just seeing it, I'm just like, that's beautiful. Those guys, you know, those guys were gonna go to the Olympics later on.
It was probably their sport in boot camp.
Also Luga.
Yeah, that was the dude who just fired the Panzerschreck, so, you know, he was just carrying probably about 40 or 50 pounds worth of anti-tank weapon. I forgive him.
Hey, well, you know, he's got the shots, he's done his part, he's successfully taken the Sherman out. So.
And he can actually be deceptively lethal. In one of my practice runs, he actually killed me twice because I kept underestimating him. I mean, he just plunked away at me with his Luger, and before I knew it, 3/4 of my health was gone.
Don't mess with the Luger, man.
That's why in this run of it, he got a very exclusive treatment with my Gewehr.
He got the cool guy lead transmitted badge of approval. Well, it's, you know, it's basically the bullet that's got inscribed on it, worth shooting. If he lives through that, he can hang around the chain around his neck, and he'll be like able to tell these kids later, yes, I was worth shooting.
I think I only got him in like the arm or something like that. So, you know, he should live through it. I think. I don't know. Truthfully, I just made sure that he fell down.
Champagne, Cap! We'll celebrate later. Leave it! Covering fire!
I can't imagine they were actually going to take the champagne. Like, would you really?
I wouldn't put it past Anderson. Do you have any kind of idea how shitty of a day he's had?
That's it though. I'm almost absolutely certain that Foley was serious when he said we'll grab it later. Because I'm considering the orders he gives, I'm sure he's actually secretly a chronic alcoholic.
He is very serious about grabbing it later.
I'm fairly certain there's like a director's cut of this game sitting somewhere where the opening goes, where like Anderson asks about the hot meal, and instead of like just laughing it off and saying, "Oh, if you're cooking," Foley takes like a big drink of like a big bottle of whiskey or something he's got there, and then just smashes it over Anderson's helmet, and then just sort of like rolls drunkenly off the side of the tank as it pulls up.
And then Anderson just sort of flips him off as he falls down, and Foley's just sort of staring at the sky at that point, so he doesn't really notice it, but, you know, Anderson's just doing it for the psychological boost.
Everyone flips off Foley when he's rolling around drunk in the snow. Oh dear. And then he'll appear later in the campaign, like just throwing up into that toilet.
Yes, specifically that one. It's the only time you see a toilet open in any Call of Duty game ever.
And maybe riding the hobby horse as well. He thinks it's the tank. He's riding it backwards, that's very important.
So this is the penultimate set piece for the American campaign, and I am probably going to draw some ire by saying I actually like this defensive operation. I think it's pretty well put together. There's a lot of good pressure that's put on you without it ever being, you know, totally unfair. There's one place where I think they overestimated what they were doing, but, you know, generally speaking, I think they did a really good job over that. And I fully expect all of the comments to call me out on how hypocritical I'm being by saying I like this but hate Boy.
Well, the way I see it is that a defensive mission is the ideal time to bring out the infinite spawning rushes. When you're actually trying to make ground, rather than having just triggered waves like ahead of you to make things difficult, throwing just like you know, a complete fucking shitload of dudes with no end at you. Just, well, it makes going forward very difficult. Whereas here, you're not going anywhere. You're sitting back. You've got the enemy coming to you. That's like the ideal gameplay point for infinite Nazis.
Also, yes, in case you are wondering, you're going to continue hearing we got German troops in the house more than if Whitney and Anderson were trying to get signed to a rap record deal.
Certainly won't be Rooney.
Yeah, I like Rooney because he blasted the German who hit me in the back with the butt of his gun, but R.I.P. Rooney.
Yeah, unless he's gonna come back for his own rap debut with like teeth, but instead of like gold teeth, like with his name inscribed on it, it's going to be like bullets, because I'm pretty sure he caught enough in the face then to actually make his own set of like lead dentures.
Okay, so now we've seen enough infantry, and now it's tank time.
Oh boy. So this is another variation of bazooka.
Yeah, this is the Panzerschreck. This is the German version. I mean, functionally, it's identical in game. There were a number of functional differences with it in real life that, you know, it was kind of a trade-off. The bazooka was a little bit easier to handle, but the Panzerschreck hurt like crazy. When a tank got shot with it, Panzerschreck translates into tank terror or tank fear, depending on how you're translating it. And tanks definitely did fear the Panzerschreck.
But by that same token, it kind of sounds like Panzerwreck, which to me is like a literal translation of what it does.
Yep, that's about right. The sweet spot for a lot of the time here is right here on top of the Panzerschreck spawn, just because you have decently good cover when you drop down, and you're always supplied on Panzerschreck ammo. That is going to be important.
And you're incredibly well covered by your buddies in the chateau as well. They've got this area very well covered.
You think so? You would think so.
Oh dear, am I going to be proven wrong in the ensuing moments?
Yeah, not quite yet, but you'll. Yeah, actually, it is quite yet.
North side! Jerry's in the kitchen!
Jerry's in the kitchen. Another good garage band name.
So yeah, the Germans have an alternate assault route than just charging from the street right there, and obviously everybody on the second floor is not going to shoot at people who were coming in through the kitchen like you did.
All right, there was another squad or two we had to like wait for to get here, didn't we?
Get up to the front and see if you can cover third squad's approach.
Cover me!
Yeah, Moody's squad is now coming up, and this provides a nice little break. I mean, effectively, you now get to come up and use the MG42, and oh my god, it's cathartic.
It's got such a nice sound to it.
Well, this is one of the only times really, that the MG42 is actually a good idea to use, because the Germans that you have up here are generally not too concerned about shooting you. I mean, they'll try to shoot you, but they're also still trying to shoot Moody and Moody's squad. So you're actually using a machine gun kind of in the way it was intended.
It's covering fire, whereas a lot of games, the minute you open fire with one of those, they basically everyone focuses you down.
Yeah, everybody just sort of looks straight at you, and that just means that you really can't use the MG42 or any sort of machine gun.
Here's the half track.
Yep, it's an MG42 fight. Fortunately, I won.
Yep. Oh, that fight ended quickly.
It tends to when you're throwing out 30 bullets per second on either side.
Just gonna sit there sadly for the rest of the time. Just that thought alone is terrifying, because they only need one to kill you, and they're throwing out 30 a second.
Yeah, if you're 1 kilometer away, which is the MG42's maximum range, by the time you see the first bullet just like miss and hit by your foot, this thing has already thrown another 29 bullets your way. I mean, my mind is full of fuck just thinking about that.
It's just why they're so terrifying and effective.
dude just sort of politely following Moody. Looking at that at the time, I was just like, what?
I'm gonna catch you! It was Franz again, wasn't it? Just fucking around.
Stop side! We need bazooka support!
Oh god. I am always terrified right here because, like every other Panzer, these things are more than happy to shoot you with their main gun.
That's a protagonist to get him.
Fortunately, the Panzers here don't solely focus on you. They've got 2 or 3 other things on their mind, but they're more than happy to waste the tank shell on ruining your entire day. Also, I love how I just saw that one phase into existence.
Teleport tank.
We got German troops in the house!
Did you just one-shot that one?
Yeah, I still have no idea how the fuck I did that.
Yeah, you're like, oh, just gotta get this ready, and oh.
Perfectly okay with it. Honestly, what worries me most when I get up to shoot a tank, I can't not shoot the tank, because number 1, the attack won't go forward, and number 2, the tank will eventually turn its focus to me and kill me instantly. So I can't not shoot it, but by the same token, what hurts me more than anything else are infantry.
Pop your head up, they're gonna pop it right back down again.
Pretty much. There are altogether too many Germans with MP44s and Gewehr 43s around here.
So whenever I hear German troops in the house, I just start like thinking the theme to Corey in the house instead.
All I'm saying is that, you know, this is very quickly becoming epic rap battles of history.
Well, they're all going to take a turn. We're going to be here for a while. This is why the defense mission takes so long. Every single German that gets inside has to have his turn.
German tank coming in from the north!
During my practice runs, it was uncomfortably common for Germans to push through the kitchen very, very quickly and assault me where I laid. So I was fucking terrified that that was going to happen with playing this.
But in this run, they stop, cook up some bratwurst.
No, actually what happened is that American soldier you see down there held them out with pretty much the butt of his gun. I mean, he was a real American hero for me.
It's not Moody, is it?
No, it's not Moody.
Peas!
Corporal Peas, yeah, right.
We've got peas in the kitchen.
And all we are saying is give Peas a chance.
Oh dear.
I'm dating myself with an all that reference, but you know, whatever.
I'm paying it, I thought it was good. But yeah, he's gotten specific orders from Foley. He has to protect that champagne.
The Germans get that champagne, I'll have your head, mister. Fortunately, you know, after you get that last half track, you can pretty safely come up here because the Panzer Shrek ammo you have will probably last you. And it's really nice to be up here because both Foley and Moody hang out right here, so you have pretty much guaranteed infantry support. How the fuck did I do that?
Hey, never look a gift exploding panzer in the mouth.
No joke. The heroic music is starting, so now I just need to survive.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if they heard that music playing in the actual war. There was just some guy, like, sort of, you know, when he realized the fight was starting to wind down, he just sort of pop up with a gramophone.
I like to think that there was a dude with a harmonica.
Well, wait a minute. I made the gramophone comment. It's Moody. It's fucking Moody in his little backpack gramophone. God damn it. So basically, all those tanks there, just don't bother with them. Just hide and wait for them to get blown up by air support.
Yeah, the P-47 Thunderbolts will nuke the crap out of them.
There they go. As someone pointed out, we actually had air support at Foy as well.
Flyboys. They love to make a dramatic entrance.
Any way they want, sir. Any way they want.
Whitney. I feel the need to just, you know, give Whitney an affectionate noogie after a comment like that.
We almost had another upside-down German incident.
But yeah, right now I am letting all of my breath out. This is definitely a situation where I was holding a breath for probably about 5 minutes straight.
Guys, this may be the hardest day I've been through. The proudest I've been of the men in my command. Anderson, go get that champagne we found. Dinner's on the way.
Yeah, what an ass.
Very generous with other people's booze, Foley.
Fall back! Bazooka, I'm here! Riley, Anderson, get your asses back here!
So, honestly, I'm going to be straight with everybody here. I don't really much like the ending cinematics for the American campaign, just because I feel that Call of Duty United Offensive lost its way to some extent with its aesthetic. And I really feel like every shooter out there needs to be trying for immersion in some way or another. And exactly what that immersive experience is doesn't matter quite so much as long as you stick to it. If you're doing something like Transformers, then, you know, your entire thing is, oh man, all of these giant robots are blowing up and this is frigging sweet. That's fine. With Call of Duty, at least, you know, the first one was, you know, oh my god, bullets are flying, people are dying, and I just might get through this if I do this just right. It was very tense and very atmospheric. And, you know, the ending cinematic that we had was a very, you know, emotional sort of thing, whereas, you know, the ending cinematic for the American campaign here really just feels like a propaganda movie.
Yeah. Plus, I got the sense of deja vu. It was like, oh yeah, I remember all that. We just did all that.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't really add too much of anything. I mean, it is still a nice reward because you get to see all of the coolest explosions and everything like that. I'm not trying to say that it's bad. I am trying to say, however, that they're kind of lost their artistic direction, and I think the overall game suffers for it.
Yeah, I will say I think I much prefer the absolute, just the way that the American campaign just abruptly ended, just with like a cleanup operation and everyone just kind of like, you know, taking off the helmet and just going, oh boy, you know. That you know, that was kind of like, yeah, let's all, you know, remember how glorious victory is. But it's like, yeah, but on the way there, like, you know, a few hundred dudes lost their lives, you know. Like,
and then we had the bridge.
Then we had the bridge, which, by the way, I would like to say they did a lot better than you.
Yeah, no joke. I mean, I was just sitting there watching people die. And just like 4 or 5 people die right in front of me. And when they're doing it, it's just like, oh, shoot, yeah, maybe like 2 dudes. Whatever.
Cinematic Germans are all cross-eyed.
I guess
obviously.
So. But, everybody, that is the American campaign. Overall, I'd say that, you know, this is still a very, very solid expansion, and they did a fantastic job, even if I really hated Foy. I still had a ton of fun with everything else. And, you know...
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, and fortunately, after how intense that was, the first half of the British campaign is almost a walk in the park. So I'm looking forward to that because I can just relax a bit.
I've heard lots of great things about the upcoming campaign, and I'm really looking forward to it.
So am I. And also, just to remind everybody, we will have Skillness back too, and I'm really looking forward to that because he's still a great guy.
Were you expecting him to transform at one point? One day Skillness just comes and goes, "Hey everyone, I'm a jerk now." So to let you know, starts farting into the microphone. Sorry, I've gotten off track. War is hell, ladies and gentlemen.
You've gotten off track. That's so freaking unnatural for you, man. Well, stick with us, and we'll see y'all soon for the British campaign, folks. I've been Cool Guy.
I have been the Lost Robocop.
Take care of yourselves and all those you love, folks.